Smugglings, what is happening? Hope you're having a great day, Smugglings. I'm going to be talking about my favourite console of all time in this particular video. I'm going to talk about the console that has stood the test of time for me and has really held all those amazing memories of gaming from when I was younger, and I wanted to share that here on this video. This is going to be another casual video where it's not going to be much preparation involved in it, and I wanted to have a casual conversation with my smugglings. That's what I want to do in this video. So the console that I consider to be my absolute favorite is the PlayStation 2. PlayStation 2 is a console that has some of the greatest games of all time for me. Ico, Shadow of the Colossus, Silent Hill 2, Metal Gear Solid 2, The Bouncer, not really. But The Bouncer is very good and very underrated. Because I do love The Bouncer, but it is not the greatest game of all time. But there's so many on the PlayStation 2. And I think it is a console that has one of the most vast libraries of all time. You can find anything for anyone on the PlayStation 2, I firmly believe. Because the catalogue of games is so expansive on there, you're bound to find something that somebody likes on there. So that is what I think about that. I got the PS2 quite late. I did have a GameCube as a young Smaugh. That was the console that I had in the house when I was a wee little Smaugh. And I really enjoyed playing the Zeldas on it. I still love Zelda. I really do love Zelda. And I'm going to give a sneak peek to a future video because I've got a Zelda game here, actually. Link Between Worlds, which I never played, but I want to give that a go very soon because I missed out on some of the later 3DS Zelda, so I wanted to try that one. But we're not talking about Zelda here, we're talking about PlayStation 2. So the PlayStation 2 console is one that I did get later after I felt like I'd graduated from Nintendo at the time. And I wanted to play the games that my mates were playing. The games that really did look quite impressive and mature and adult. And those are the things that were really enticing to me as a young Smaugh. As I saw them play games like Grand Theft Auto and Black and Killzone and these shooters that were on there, and shooters were really gaining momentum at that time, and I didn't really have games that were like that. I was playing mostly platformers and games on the GameCube, so I wanted to really dive into that, and I did get the PlayStation 2 system at a certain point, and I remember some of the first games I played on there were Ico and Shadow of the Colossus games I'd been wanting to play for so long. And they still stand as some of my absolute favourite games of all time. Those games are incredible, really formative for me, as I've said countless times before. Those games are so special and unlike almost anything else you will ever play. And they are very great. And it was funny because it was almost at that point that it really solidified my opinion that the PlayStation 2 was the greatest console of all time, because it had those two games on it, just two games that were utterly incredible, and it made me believe that the PlayStation 2 was the best console. Then I got exposed to other games that were on there, such as Metal Gear Solid 2 and the Silent Hill series, which I absolutely love, of course, and that is my favourite gaming series, quite honestly, is Silent Hill. And it exposed me to so much that I came to really be attached to in terms of gaming. So many genres that I found on this, such as the survival horror genre. And it really did leave a big impression on me. And I'd also say that the stealth genre was introduced to me on there, because I hadn't played Siphon Filter or Splinter Cell. It was Metal Gear Solid that was the game that was my entrance into that genre. And Metal Gear Solid is an absolute masterclass in terms of storytelling, gameplay, visual design. It is really amazing, and I think that something that was really great about PS2 is that a lot of the games that were on there that were great were Japanese games, and that is where I find games to be the best, is when they're from Japan. A lot of my favorite games are from Japanese developers, and although I do like Western games, I do prefer games that were developed in Japan because they do have that magic attached to them. As video games were originally from Japan, and I found that for a long time you could definitely tell what games were from Japan because they had that magic to them. I didn't feel like a lot of Western games did, even if they were really great. I felt like the games from Japan just had that special magic. So I absolutely love Japan for what they did for gaming, and that really solidified my love for PlayStation as a brand, because I really did become a big fan of PlayStation and have had every main console since its release. I even went back to get the PS1, even though I didn't need to because the PS2 is backwards compatible. And I had the PS3, PS4, PS5, PSP. I think the only one I didn't have was the PS Vita. And the reason for that is because I chose the 3DS instead, because they had other games on there that I really wanted. But I really love this family of systems. They are some of the most prestigious gaming consoles of all time, and they feel like they are of a premium quality, and I think that's something that Sony has really encapsulated with their consoles, that they do feel like a premium piece of technology, and it's quite amazing what they've done in that regard. And you can look at the PlayStation exclusives that we see a lot now, and even then they did have that tinge of quality to them that you could not find elsewhere. And I was marveling recently because I played Ico last Christmas, and that game is 23 years old, and it can still immerse me more than almost any other game I've ever played. And the game is so simple, but it just immerses you in that world, in the plight of the boy and the girl trying to escape the castle. And it's crazy that I feel like there's not been that much advancement from that particular point and from that game. Not to say that there aren't amazing games now, because there obviously are. There's loads of amazing games that are coming out currently. But it just goes to show you how great the PS2 actually was, that this was able to be achieved so early in the 21st century. It was really incredible. And another thing I want to bring up about the PS2 is the fact that it was backwards compatible, which I did touch on previously, and you were able to access the catalogue of PS1 games. So I was able to play Silent Hill and Metal Gear Solid, and I could then play the subsequent entries in the series that were on the PS2. So I had that very forward-thinking approach to gaming, and it's something that'd be a big point of contention later on, where some consoles didn't have backwards compatibility, and it would be seen as a deficiency in the console that you could not play games from the previous console manufacturer's library. And I definitely agree with that. I love backwards compatibility. I love being able to go back to the games that I really love on a current piece of technology. I think that's so important, and it really is sorely felt when it's not there, quite honestly. And we wouldn't need all these HD remasters and remakes if that were the case, if we were able to access the catalogs on every current piece of hardware. We wouldn't need it. But I'm not going to rant about that, because I do love remakes and remasters for games I love, so I'm not going to rant about that. But the PlayStation 2 is such an amazing piece of technology, and the subsequent slimline versions were so amazing as well. They really did look great, and they're so portable. You can just pick them up in your bag and put them wherever you're going. And I have done that in the past, where I've gone over to friends' houses when I was a kid, and I've taken the PS2 in a goddamn duffel bag, and I've just looked like a poor pauper on the street, just basically lugging a PS2 in his backpack. But that is a great thing about it, is that it was so portable with the slimline version that you could take it anywhere. And I still love that design. I think that's an amazing design. And I would love for consoles to get to that size again, to be able to pick them up and take them wherever you go in such a portable and light way. I think that is really cool. That is much more preferable to the way the PS5 is currently, because it is a big old machine, the PS5, big old machine. God damn, looking at it right now. God damn it. But I know they have the slimline version as well, but got no money, man. I got no money. But that's all good, man. We get through. But that's what I want to say about the PS2. It is an amazing console. Absolutely love it. And I wanted to gush about it a little bit in this video. I think the next video, like I said, is going to be the pickups video that I will be doing. So I just want to gather a few more pieces for that, and then that will be good to go ahead and we'll have a bit of fun. But I wanted to gush a little bit about the PS2, this amazing piece of technology that really solidified my love for PlayStation and narrative in games and various other franchises that came to be franchises that I really love. So that is what I want to say about that. But I really appreciate you watching, Smauglings. Let me know below, what is your favorite console of all time? I want to know, and we'll have a discussion about it in the comments. And really appreciate you, and I will see you soon in the next video, Smaughlings. So you guys take care, and I will see you soon.